Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next Scrap-Tacular. So today we are going to be talking about spirals. Um, we will be looking at how you can make a nice spiral for a dangle. You could also just put in an ear wire and make that little earring. It could go at the end of your chain or like a bracelet just as a little accent. So that's one of those we'll be doing. We'll be talking about how you can use a spiral as a head pin, just like that. You could string a bead or a couple of beads on there and attach a ear wire to that. And we will be talking about how you can combine that and add that. So if you had just like a simple plain head pin like this one, like a eye pin, you could attach that little dangle to the end for a little bit of movement and length, and that's how that little dangle could be used as well. That's just a different size from the other one. They can be made larger or smaller. And let's get started. So we'll start with the plain dangle first. This is a 20 gauge wire that was left off from a weaving project. Tools. Round nose pliers. I have my needle nose round nose pliers. I like using that because the tip of that is really nice and tiny, so I can get that initial circle in the center to be like really nice and small. I have my needle nose, flat nose pliers, and cutters. All right, let's get this out of the way. So we're gonna start with this, and a ruler. So this is a 20 gauge round wire, and it measures just slightly over 4 inches. And I did cut them out both together. So I started off with 2 same wires. That way I'll have 2 of each if I want to go and do earrings with that. So to start off, you take the very tip of your wire. When you are curling, you shouldn't be able to feel that. So move that up a little bit. You shouldn't be able to feel that wire. That's how you know you're in the right place. Turn, lift, turn. You should have something like this. Okay? Go right in there. You're going to close that loop up really nice and tight. And just release and adjust as you go. So you have a closed loop like this. Now we're going to switch to our needle nose pliers. Hold it right there. You can also use your nylon jaw pliers or flat nose pliers, just something that's going to give you a good grip. So just there, when you're holding this, you should be able to see that edge. So you're holding it, take your thumb, push it. These are small movements. No rush there. You should be able to see where you're moving. So here you should be able to see a little bit of that curve of that wire. Hold it firmly, but not so hard that you're going to mangle your wire. And again, it's small movements, a little bit of patience. Once you get that going, it'll go smoother. You can do this with 18 gauge, even 16 gauge wires. You'll just get a bigger circle. If you wanted to just do this kind of thing as a pendant, yeah, definitely go with either 18 gauge or a 16 gauge. That way you'll have a larger circle. This is a closed tight spiral. We can also do an open spiral, so that you'll just be leaving an extra space in there. We'll get to that in one of the other projects that's coming up. So again, you're holding it right there and you're guiding it with your thumb, pushing it as close together as possible. If you're here, then you're going to give it a bit of a room. That's basically what an open spiral would kind of be like. But also, because you are working with a soft wire, it could get kind of mangled and not really circular. So it's always better with this one, with the smaller gauges, to go with a tighter circle. And to do that, you just keep going like this. You're chasing this wire with your thumb and or other fingers. I'm doing it in this direction. If you're left-handed, you want to go the other way. that can be done too. You just go in the opposite direction. So it'd be like here and you go down. It would have the absolute same effect. There's nothing different about it. I just find it comfortable doing it this way. Okay, so that's the spiral. When you get to the end of it, you have about a half a centimeter, just about a centimeter left. You would go in here again with the tip of the pliers, but a little bigger circle this time, and just go around, release, tip again, around, until you have a closed loop. When you do put this together, make sure, like if you're doing them as earrings, that they are facing in the opposite direction. So if this is an S going backwards, this is an S going the right way. So when you put them on earrings, they always have to be mirrored. Well, not always, but it's preferable, it's more pleasing if they're mirrored. So you would go with them in the opposite directions. So that's your first spiral. The same exact concept is for a head pin. You would do that same exact spiral, but you would give yourself this little room. So that's a head pin, so your bead won't fall off. And I'm just going to show it to you with this bead. So you could thread on a bead. It's up to you, a bead or more. Like if you wanted to snip it off there, have really tiny earrings, or you have more links going, you can do that. Or you can have just, I like this little bit because this is a twisted wire. It kind of has that little nice little look to it. So I would probably put just a bead, like a fancy bead, and leave that there and attach that to an ear wire. All right, let's get started with this one. This is a bit of twisted wire, and it is 2 3/4 of an inch. Here. Okay, so that's where this is 2 3/4 of an inch. And like I said, I cut out both sections of the wire first. Same thing, a tiny loop at the edge. Release until you have that closed loop. The first circle, you'll chase it with the pliers on the inside, just like that. Just like that. Hold that down with your flat nose pliers, and it's a good idea to have the other piece right next to it so you know where you're going with it. You could definitely make this head pin bigger or smaller. It's completely up to you. As you're going, it's always a good idea to look at it and see if they match a little bit more. Again, not so hard, not so firm that you'll mangle the wire. Just firm enough so that you're not going to have it slip out of your grasp. So right about there is where I want that bend to be. Then I can close this up a little bit more. And this is just like we did the breaking the neck in the other regular links that we work with. Okay,